Hi, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jamie, and this is our From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast. As the owners of Hired Hand website software, we've been developing websites and creating internet marketing strategies for livestock breeders for the past 10 years.
The majority of our customers are involved in the breeding of registered animals, such as Texas Longhorns, Highland cattle, horses, and white-tailed deer, where the pedigrees are very important. The From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast examines many of the differences in raising pedigreed livestock for maximum profit. Join us and learn what we're covering today.
Today I'm here with Wade Wagner of Wagner Cattle Company in New Harmony, Utah. For those of you that are on YouTube and TikTok, you might know him as Rancher Wade. Thanks for joining us today, Wade.
Hi, how you doing?
We're good. It's a beautiful day here in Iowa, so I can't complain.
I saw the weather there because I have a son that lives there, but out here it's snowy and been raining for 3 or 4 days and pretty chilly outside.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this is going to spoil us and then it'll go right back to what February normally is here next week. So,
yeah.
Well, today you and I are going to kind of talk a little bit about social media marketing, TikTok, just all things internet marketing, since you, I don't want to say you're TikTok famous or YouTube famous, but I think you're getting there, right?
Well, according to my kids, I am on a few levels here.
So, that's how you know you've made it. If they know about you, then you know you've made it, right?
That's right. I've been learning from them over the last couple of years.
Well, good. Well, why don't you start by telling our listeners just a little bit about how you got into Texas Longhorn cattle?
Well, so I've always been a cowboy at heart in my life. My grandpa had a farm growing up here in Mesquite, Nevada, just a little tiny podunk town. It's where my mom was raised. But I always went to his farm and enjoyed the horses, the cows, everything. So it's always been kind of my thing to do that. But I've lived in Las Vegas, Nevada, my entire life, and I'm a dentist there. Been practicing dentistry for 26 years in Las Vegas. Well, I finally decided about 5.5 years ago that I really wanted to live this dream that's been in the back of my mind the whole time. Now, that didn't include Texas Longhorns at the time. That just included having a little tiny ranch and having some animals. So we moved up here and bought this little place. And I thought, everybody's got these black cows. That's all everybody has around here. They're all black. And I thought, we need to have something fun that people can look at. And for some reason, Texas Longhorns popped into my brain. And I went, I wonder if they live here. I knew nothing about them. Maybe they only live in Texas. I don't know. So I looked into it and found out there are some breeders here in Utah, and was driving by a little place an hour from here and saw a guy had like 6 of them in his front yard, and stopped in and talked to him, and I was so impressed with him. So that's kind of how I got started.
So what inspired you to start sharing your experiences as a breeder on TikTok and YouTube?
Well, so my kids kept telling me, hey, Dad, I think people would really like these. They're kind of cool animals, and I think they'd really like to see them on TikTok. Why don't you try it? I said, well, what's TikTok? I'd heard of it, didn't know what it was, never used it. So they told me, well, it's a thing. I said, is it like Facebook? And, yada, yada. So anyway, they showed me how to do it. I signed up, made a little account, and they told me what to do. So I posted a video on TikTok. And I think my first video, it got like 9 million views. Okay. The very first one I posted, and I thought, well, hey, is that good? That's cool. They're like, Dad, I've been posting for years and I get like 3 views when I put something on there, And I said, well, I don't know, but people seem to love that particular thing. And so I think the next one I posted had, 62 million hits on it. And I mean, they don't all do that, but they were flabbergasted. I guess I'm still kind of in shock a little bit about it, but it's been really fun just doing stuff and seeing people's comments on the Texas Longhorns.
Do you remember what that very first video was that you posted?
I think the very first one I posted was I was standing at my front window looking out my front yard. And I always keep a couple of animals here in the front yard. And because I live in a neighborhood, it's not a huge property right here. I keep the cows elsewhere, but at other pastures that I've got. But I saw a mama cow out here playing with her month-old heifer. So the heifer was running around and jumping around, and then mama started running around and jumping around. And that's the video. My wife actually took it. I took one from a different angle, but I used the one that she had. So that was the very first one I think we posted.
So how has TikTok helped you connect with kind of a community of both cattle breeders and non-cattle breeders alike?
Well, non-cattle breeders, it's definitely helped me connect a lot. I don't know how many actual longhorn breeders follow me or see what I put on there. But the masses out there, and I mean, I get people from all over. I mean, they come through all night long because I got people in the Middle East. I got people in China. I've got people in Japan. You see these comments, you don't understand them. I have no clue what they're saying. I just hit a little like button and let them know I'm listening. Sometimes it's too many. There's thousands and you just can't answer. I'll try to answer questions now and again, but so for people that have never seen them, I've connected well. I don't know. Again, I see other breeders on TikTok and I try to acknowledge their things, but it sure helped with I think just educating people a little bit on Texas Longhorns.
For those comments that you do have time to read or respond to, what type of feedback are you getting?
The number one comment I get is, I didn't know females had horns. Because in most species, the males have the horns or the, whatever. And so that is probably the number one thing, is nobody knew that female Texas Longhorns actually have horns. They all think they're bulls. And so that's the biggest one, I think. And then the next one is, are they heavy? How do they hold them up? They're too big, they're too heavy. So those are probably the biggest comments, or the most comments I get.
So do you try to address some of that through the content that you post and educate folks a little bit more about it?
I have done a little bit of that. We're working on getting some things going to try to do better. We've been focusing a little bit on trying to, I've got a daughter that helps me and a son, and all my kids, will say some things. But we're going to try to do some more educational videos for YouTube, for Instagram, and of course TikTok, and of course I'm on Facebook every day.
What kind of content do you find performs the best for you?
I think people like the action stuff. I mean, if you're doing something and a cow appears to be aggressive, I think that's what they like. I think people want to see me get hurt. I don't know. That's
messed up.
I mean, there's been some cute ones but it seems like they love just seeing. I mean, the top 3 videos I have, one of them looks dangerous, but the other 2 don't. So it's hard to know. You post something sometimes and go, oh man, they're gonna love this, and then you get 3,000 or 4,000 people liking it or thumbs up or whatever, make a couple of comments, and then something you have no idea just starts taking off and you get millions. So I don't know.
So how long have you been doing this? Like, constantly posting and getting yourself out there?
So I was a casual user of Facebook, just to, look at friends' stuff, never really made many comments and things. But at the beginning of that COVID pandemic garbage, when they made me close down my office in Las Vegas, had to shut down my dental practice. And I came home, and the first day I was home, I was sitting here going, there's so much fear, and nobody even knew what was going on at that time. I mean, I didn't know what was happening, really. I mean, we knew there was this virus out there. So I thought people need some fun stuff to look at. Nothing political. I never post political. Even though I have strong leanings and I'm very passionate about things like that, I stay away from that kind of stuff because I want people to enjoy what they're looking at, And so I posted a video and I put day number 1. My office was shut down or whatever, and this is day number 1, and I'm going to show you some pictures of some longhorns.
I remember those videos. I was one of your viewers.
So now here we are. I think today is 1,388. So I'll post a little clip or a picture later today. So it's been almost 4 years of trying to post a video of mostly 99% of my Texas Longhorn, every single day, something that I'm doing, something that's going on. And so many people that don't acknowledge it but when I'm out and I see friends, oh man, I watch all your videos, but I've never seen them hit the like button, or I've never seen them make a comment. But I think people enjoy it, and not many people get to live what I call, this dream that I'm living. And I think it's good for people to see.
So let's examine that comment a little bit about when you see your fellow Longhorn breeders out. They know that you do the videos, but they haven't liked or shared or engaged in that way. Do you think it's because it's a little bit different? You're not trying to sell something. You're not, always promoting your upcoming consignments or your for charity animals. You're just, like you said, trying to make people's day, put something nice out there. That's kind of different in terms of what other Longhorn breeders are posting on Facebook and out there, right?
I guess it could be. Now, Facebook is different, a total different animal than TikTok. I was mainly referring to TikTok earlier, not connecting with breeders and whatnot. Facebook, on the other hand, a lot of breeders, we all stay connected. So many cool videos, so many cool pictures. I scan through them every day to see what people are doing. And so it's fun to watch that. So I do get a lot of feedback from the Longhorn community on my Facebook thing, because I think that's where most people are connected. So I do get a lot on that. And I use that, specifically, I started doing that with the Longhorn community, getting involved in there, because nobody knew who I was. 5.5 years ago, nobody knew at all who I was. I went to my first sale, and I'm kind of, I consider myself an outgoing person, but I needed to make friends. And I realized pretty quickly that my name meant nothing. Nobody knew me. Who's going to buy an animal for somebody nobody knows? They don't know who you are. Can I trust this guy? Can I not? And so that was one of the reasons I try to go to a few events, because we're so far away. So I go to 3, maybe 4 events a year. But I try to stay connected on the other platforms so people can see what my program's about, see some of the animals we have. And we're very small. We're very small. But I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy the people I've met have been amazing.
So how do you continue to come up with new and fresh ideas for your followers?
Well, I think if you always have your camera with you and you think of something that sometimes in a stressful situation, it's hard to remember you got your camera in your pocket. And I'm trying to get better at that. Like the other day, I run in some animals through the barn, or a couple of animals, and one of them jumps up in the barn, climbs up on the haystack on top. First time that happened, I just worried about getting her down so she didn't fall off and hurt herself. Whereas last time, I took a picture and video and said, get down, stuff like that. So I think just having, because you'll find, as we all know, we've not seen everything a cow will do. When you think you're secure, you think you're got them penned in, you think, the crazy things that they do, they end up in the funniest places and the sometimes dangerous positions and stuff you got to deal with. So if you got your camera with you, you can try to capture some of those moments.
So you're not setting aside days to go film content and just that sort of stuff. You're truly just enjoying the ranch that you have, kind of living out that dream and just filming when things happen.
Right. I mean, I try to do that, but I have specifically gone out to try to get certain pictures on a certain day. If I, depending on what the scenery is. So but I haven't set aside, but that's probably coming for certain platforms, more educational things. But for Facebook, I mainly just want to let people see what the everyday life of a rancher is.
Love what you're hearing? Be sure to check out our Pickup Truck Confessions. It's a video series where we hop in the truck or rental car and interview a variety of breeders about what drives their passion for their livestock, how they got started in the breed of their choice, marketing tips, and more. And now, back to the podcast.
So how much time do you think you spend coming up with ideas, filming, editing, working on engagement on your TikTok account?
TikTok account, I don't spend as much time as I should probably. I honestly don't hardly ever edit I don't edit anything. I don't know how. I think I can shorten a video on my iPhone. I can make it a little shorter, but I don't know how to splice stuff together or do something like that. And that's why I've got my daughter working on some things for me, and my son can do some stuff. And I've got 8 kids, so they all, can give me ideas and things of what I should be doing. But I honestly haven't done hardly any editing of anything I've done.
Well, it's definitely nice that you have them because, like you said, it's probably coming down the road that you're going to need that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What advice would you give to someone who's having a hard time finding time for social media or struggles to come up with content ideas?
Well, the biggest thing I think, the only advice I have is carry your phone with you. I mean, the phone is the easiest thing, and carrying around a big bulky camera. Just make sure you have your phone with you, and then just try to condition yourself to film every little thing that happens if you can, and do it. But that's really the only advice that I have, because to try to come up with something new, like for my Facebook, every single day for now almost 1,400 days. I mean, that's trying to come up with something new is hard, to do. But sometimes I'll think of something, that'd be fun to get doing this, or get them doing this, or when I'm doing this particular thing. But the main thing is just have your phone with you and remember to use it.
Do you end up deleting a lot of the clips that you film? Like you're out there, you're using your phone, but then maybe it doesn't turn out to be, what you thought it would be?
I do that. I'll take 6 pictures of this particular cow or this bull, and obviously I'll trash 4 of them and keep 1 just because I've got so many pictures on and videos the same way. If I don't like the way they looked or the way they were standing or whatever, I do a lot of cutting out of stuff. I'm going to learn how to splice it all together.
I feel like this is a cry for help to your kids if they're listening, right? We need to teach you this sooner.
That's it.
How do you, and this might go back to your children as well, but how do you stay informed about the latest developments and trends in both the world of cattle ranching, but also content creation?
As far as cattle ranching, all my information, I've spent a lot of time on the phone talking to other Longhorn breeders. I have a couple of friends close by that do black cows, Herefords and Angus and those type of things. But and cattle are cattle to a certain extent. Longhorns, we treat them a little bit differently on certain things. But I have been on the phone a lot with people over the years. And I started out talking to guys like Scott Pace, Doug Hunt, and then I met Michael New, and Mike New and Mike has been phenomenal. We're a partner on about half, well, maybe not quite half, but the animals that I own and that he owns, we're partners on now, and bulls and cows. So anyway, he has been a wealth of knowledge. I think he's been doing this for 18 years or so, something like that. But he has been a great partner and has given me a lot of help, when I've needed it. Seems like now, if I have a medical question or something, I'll try to call the vet, or I'll call somebody. Hey, have you seen this? I can call Scott Pace up and go, hey, she's got something in her eye. What would you guys do? And or something like that. But for most of the time now, Michael New and I do a lot of talking on the phone.
And how far is he? I know those are all Utah breeders you mentioned, or Scott formerly was. How far is Mike from you?
So Mike lives about 3 hours from me, 3 hours and 15 minutes. Jason Hardy's up the road. I've gone to his ranch a number of times. He's doing a great job over there. Doug Hunt lives about an hour from me around the mountain. I did not know that because I couldn't find how to contact him early on. But I finally, and I spent a lot of time with Doug Hunt. And then, Scott was here for a couple of years. Then he abandoned us and went to Oklahoma. Anyway.
So do you have any friends like that you can pick their brain about social media and those trends and questions that you might have? Or is that mostly go back to your kids?
Mostly go back there. Nobody else, that I know really. I think Dean Whitlock and I have talked a little bit about social media, but most of the breeders I know don't do a whole lot of that, except for Facebook. Everybody seems like all the Texas Longhorn breeders, which I really appreciate, are on Facebook. There's a lot of great information on Facebook that these people will put on. Hey, I've got this going on. What's your experience? And you'll get 20, 30, 40 comments sometimes on this problem with this cow or this medical issue or whatever,
For sure. Yeah. Are there any memorable experiences or stories that you've encountered while working with your Longhorns that you haven't shared on TikTok yet that you'd be willing to share with us?
I honestly, most of the things get shared on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram. Even when I get stuck in the mud, I'll set my camera up and put it on fast, that whatever the fast thing is, and show me digging out for an hour and a half in about 30 seconds. And I'll be stuck in the snow or the mud. But most of the animals or the things that I do with the animals, I've shown on social media, except for some dangerous situations. When I ended up in the emergency room last year and wasn't filming at that time, but it was just a young heifer. She wasn't trying to hurt me. She was just trying to get away, and I was trying to prevent her. But they're a heck of a lot stronger than we are. I'll tell you that.
Lesson learned, right?
That's right. No more.
So I know you alluded to some things coming down the path in the future with maybe education. Is there any other tidbits you can share with us of what we can look forward to on your channels?
Just everyday stuff. I'm expecting some calves coming quick, so I'll be showing those. I don't really want them born this time of year, but I expected a couple of them to be in auctions over last fall, and it didn't work out. So I now ended up with some cows that are going to deliver in February, and you don't want to deliver in February in Utah, really. So I bring them over to the barn and stick them in the barn so they can stay warm. But there's going to be some of that coming up, just my everyday life here in this beautiful place I live in with the mountains and the snow. And it's a phenomenal place that we happen to find here. So we love it.
Well, you mentioned sales. Have you started sharing any content while you and your wife are at the sales and animals are in the ring and that sort of stuff?
So I have done that. Matter of fact, there was a couple of years ago at the Legacy sale, I think I got 4 million views on a cow that was selling there for a couple of $100,000. And I've done that twice and, had pretty good success. And I try to catalog one of the sales. I like to put other people in, my Facebook posts, and let them know which sale we're at. Um, uh, and it's been great, meeting all the breeders and getting to know them a little bit. It's a wonderful Longhorn community that we have. I've really met a lot of cool people.
Well, my partner Jamie loves to be on camera. She'll act like she doesn't, but she absolutely loves it. So she would be a great one to put on the spot, Wade.
Well, you know something? Next time I'm at a sale, I think the next sale I'm going to is the Glendenning. Glendenning sale down in Texas. So I'll catch her then, and
I'm sure she'd love to help.
Yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your breeding program. For those folks who are in the breed and listening, what would you want them to know about your program and where it is and where it's headed?
Well, I think, for a small breeder like myself, it's tough. And for a guy that doesn't have, a ton of money to be able to buy I can't go out and buy MC Hanging Tough. I can't go out and buy, certain animals. So best thing I can do is try have the best herd sire that I can have. And we've got a great one right now. He's a 92-inch, bull that Michael New bred up in Lehigh or Alpine, Utah. But he is a great, huge, big, one of the tallest bulls that I've seen. And anyway, 92 inches, beautiful color. He hasn't ever thrown a solid color calf. So he's a great herd sire for us. But I've kind of bought into Michael New's philosophy of, doing a lot of artificial insemination, because then you can get the best bulls out there. I bought semen from a lot of breeders out there. You can have, even though you're a small breeder, you can enjoy the benefits of the best animals in the breed by doing that. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here. Took me a couple years to figure that out, but now we're heading in that direction.
How many head are you taking to the Glendenning Fiesta sale that you mentioned?
I've got two really nice cows that I'm taking. One's an LC Bladen daughter. She's 83 and a half, 84 inches of big, high handlebar horn, solid black. And then I'm taking Double Your Luck, HL Your Luck, bred by Hudson Longhorns. She's a double barrel daughter, and she's one of my favorites. Hard to part with these. Blackout's been with me since the beginning. She was in the first couple of cows that I bought and brought. First females that I brought to the ranch, she was there. And so she's tough to part with, but she's a phenomenal looking female. So people are going to love her.
Well, I know our team here always appreciates the great job you do of marketing your sale consignments. Do you have any advice for fellow breeders if they're not used to putting themselves out there, what they can do to promote their sale consignments?
Well, just what we've been talking about. I just if you make a lot of friends and you put your content on Facebook, which I think where most of the people are. I mean, TikTok is for the world. Facebook and Instagram might be more for our community, and just get to know people, get to go. I like to go to places because I like to meet people in person. That's how I met. I met Justin over at Doug Hunt's place, and then we became friends. And I actually spent a lot of time on the phone with him early on. but he's a busy dude. So anyway, had a lot of great knowledge from me. Dean Whitlock and I spent some time on the phone. He's been he joined about the same time I did, and he's done a phenomenal job down there in Texas. But and he promotes very well. He promotes very well with his stuff. So I'd say follow Dean, because he's he does a lot of good promotion.
We'll have to get him on here and get some tips. Tell him.
Yes.
We'll blame that on you when he.
Right. You tell him I said he's the guy you got to get on there. He's got great ideas. He's got new and innovative ideas. He's much more technological savvy than I am, I'm sure. He's created some cool apps at the latest. Anyway, he's a good dude to get on here.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share, either about social media or your herd, before we sign off here?
I don't think there's anything else I can add. I'm just loving it. This has been, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to do this till I don't love it anymore. When it becomes a chore. But I go to Vegas to rest. When I go down there and practice dentistry, the 3 days a week that I work 3 full days down there. And then it's 2 hours away. I come back to my ranch on the weekend, and it's almost like therapy. This is where I love being. I love being around the animals, and I couldn't be more happy with what I'm doing right now with my life.
Have you ever had any of your dental patients recognize you from your Rancher Wade TikTok?
I have had, yes, a couple young girls. I love cows. Oh my gosh, you're so and so. And I think I was at a pizza place here, 30 minutes away in a little town, and some guy dude goes, "Hey, dude, you're Rancher Wade, aren't you?" And he was from another state, but I said, I don't know how they recognize me, because I don't show my face very often on TikTok. Facebook, I do, but anyway. So it's been fun.
That's what's important, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And for everyone listening, be sure to go follow Rancher Wade on all your social media platforms.
Hey, thanks a lot, Molly. Appreciate it. It's been fun.